You might think a kid king fixing a temple sounds like a fairy tale, but what if I told you this story holds the secret to transforming your own life, no matter how young, old, or stuck you feel? Most people breeze past Josh's story in the Bible, never stopping to realize how much power lies in those ancient chapters, especially 2 Chronicles 24. It's controversial because Josh's journey starts with faith but then takes a sharp turn, challenging what we believe about success, mentorship, and staying true to our values. Ready for a quick win? Understanding this tale could change how you approach your own temple, your heart, your purpose, your daily grind. Stick around, because what you're about to read might just rewrite your story. Then, let's read the chapter together. Joash was 7 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 4 years. His mother's name was Zibiah. She was from Beersheba. Joash did what was right in the eyes of the Lord all the years of Jehoiada the priest. Jehoiada chose 2 wives for him, and he had sons and daughters. Sometime later Joash decided to restore the temple of the Lord. He called together the priests and Levites and said to them, "Go to the towns of Judah and collect the money due annually from all Israel, to repair the temple of your God. Do it now." But the Levites did not act at once. Therefore the king summoned Jehoiada the chief priest and said to him, "Why haven't you required the Levites to bring in from Judah and Jerusalem the tax imposed by Moses the servant of the Lord and by the assembly of Israel for the tent of the covenant law?" Now the sons of that wicked woman Athaliah had broken into the temple of God and had used even its sacred objects for the Baals. At the king's command, a chest was made and placed outside, at the gate of the temple of the Lord. A proclamation was then issued in Judah and Jerusalem that they should bring to the Lord the tax that Moses the servant of God had required of Israel in the wilderness. All the officials and all the people brought their contributions gladly, dropping them into the chest until it was full. Whenever the chest was brought in by the Levites to the king's officials and they saw that there was a large amount of money, the royal secretary and the officer of the chief priest would come and empty the chest and carry it back to its place. They did this regularly and collected a great amount of money. The king and Jehoiada gave it to those who carried out the work required for the temple of the Lord. They hired masons and carpenters to restore the Lord's temple, and also workers in iron and bronze to repair the temple. The men in charge of the work were diligent, and the repairs progressed under them. They rebuilt the temple of God according to its original design and reinforced it. When they had finished, they brought the rest of the money to the king and Jehoiada, and with it were made articles for the Lord's temple, articles for the service and for the burnt offerings, and also dishes and other objects of gold and silver. As long as Jehoiada lived, burnt offerings were presented continually in the temple of the Lord. Now Jehoiada was old and full of years, and he died at the age of 130. He was buried with the kings in the city of David, because of the good he had done in Israel for God and his temple. After the death of Jehoiada, the officials of Judah came and paid homage to the king, and he listened to them. They abandoned the temple of the Lord, the God of their ancestors, and worshipped Asherah poles and idols. Because of their guilt, God's anger came on Judah and Jerusalem. Although the Lord sent prophets to the people to bring them back to him, and though they testified against them, they would not listen. Then the Spirit of God came on Zechariah son of Jehoiada the priest. He stood before the people and said, "This is what God says, why do you disobey the Lord's commands? You will not prosper. Because you have forsaken the Lord, he has forsaken you." But they plotted against him, and by order of the king they stoned him to death in the courtyard of the Lord's temple. King Joash did not remember the kindness Zechariah's father Jehoiada had shown him, but killed his son, who said as he lay dying, "May the Lord see this and call you to account." At the turn of the year, the army of Aram marched against Joash. It invaded Judah and Jerusalem and killed all the leaders of the people. They sent all the plunder to their king in Damascus. Although the Aramean army had come with only a few men, the Lord delivered into their hands a much larger army. Because Judah had forsaken the Lord, the God of their ancestors, judgment was executed on Joash. When the Arameans withdrew, they left Joash severely wounded. His officials conspired against him for murdering the son of Jehoiada the priest, and they killed him in his bed. So he died and was buried in the city of David, but not in the tombs of the kings. Those who conspired against him were Zabad, son of Shimeath an Ammonite woman, and Jehozabad, son of Shimrith a Moabite woman. The account of his sons, the many prophecies about him, and the record of the restoration of the temple of God are written in the annotations on the book of the Kings. And Amaziah his son succeeded him as king. Let's say a quick prayer to thank the Lord for his mercy. Hey God, thanks so much for the chance to dive into this story about Joash and the lessons it holds. I'm really grateful for the wisdom you've given me through this study, helping me see how important it is to keep my heart focused and my faith alive. Please, walk with me as I try to put these lessons into action every day. Don't let me drift or forget where my strength comes from. Guide me to stay faithful, humble, and open to your love. Amen. Now that you've read and explored Joash's story in 2 Chronicles 24, ask yourself, what's your own temple that needs repair? Is it your faith, your relationships, or maybe your daily habits? The real question is, will you stay faithful like young Joash under Jehoiada's guidance, or let distractions pull you away? Think about the mentors, habits, or commitments that keep you grounded, and how easily they can slip away if you're not careful. What will you do differently starting today to protect and restore what truly matters? If this spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe and turn on notifications to keep learning how ancient wisdom can spark real change in your life. And, as always, don't forget to check the last video and learn more about the scriptures.